Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how to start working with the Greek goddess Aphrodite. So Aphrodite is a pretty commonly well-known deity. She is the Greek goddess of love, pleasure, fertility, procreation, and beauty. So it's no wonder a lot of people want to work with her, and she is very receptive, I would say, to genuine people looking to work with her and establish a relationship with her. She's identified with the planet Venus, and her Roman counterpart is Venus. A lot of people tend to see Venus as like the younger version of her, more like the maiden version of her, but I tend to see them as interchangeable. I feel like they have the same qualities and they represent the same entity. So being associated with the planet of Venus, Aphrodite is also associated with Venus Day, which is Friday. So I don't know if you know this, but every single day of the week is associated with a planet, Friday being Venus. So that's why it's best to do magic or work with her on Fridays, which is Venus Day. So some things that are sacred to Aphrodite include myrtle, doves, roses, honey, swans, also seashells. She's usually depicted as coming out of the sea. Her origin was she was born of sea foam. But when you first want to start working with Aphrodite, I would recommend familiarizing yourself with Greek mythology or learning about the myths associated with her, because she is involved in a lot of different myths, and she's had quite an interesting backstory. So I would say to research that first. So just a general backstory of Aphrodite. Cronus was sought to free his mother from Uranus's reign. He was basically keeping her as like a slave, and she put up with it for a while, but then finally had enough. So Cronus came and took a sickle, and when Uranus went to the mother for sex, he took the sickle and removed his testicles and flung them into the ocean, and out from that Aphrodite was born. So obviously that's already a colorful backstory for her. But then she was married off to Hephaestus and then had many lovers following that. She was lovers with Ares and Hermes, which you get Hermaphrodite from that, and then finally Adonis. But she's associated with much more. So definitely learn about her backstory. She will appreciate you learning more and more about her through the Greek mythology. And it's like when you meet a friend in real life and you want to know about their backstory, you want to know who they are, where they come from. So by learning that, you already have a good idea of her mentality, the way she is, how she would be maybe as a friend or to be a patron of her. Which leads me into the next point, which is whenever you want to approach a deity to work with them, you don't want to go in and start demanding anything of them. because that would immediately turn them off and make them not really want to work with you. I mean, imagine if somebody wanted to be your friend, they come in, they're like, you have to do this, 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 and this for me to be my friend. You would be like, girl, who even are you? So you want to create a space where you can introduce yourself. Learn about devotional acts to deities through the Hellenistic pantheon, because the first thing many people do in Homer is they wash their hands before making any sort of offering to the god that they're trying to evoke. You're going to want to entice her with the things that she is already attracted to. So leaving offerings of shells, even an offering of yourself, like a beauty ritual, a bath would be great. Salt water. You pour salt in your bath water, roses, make it a devotional act to yourself. Self-compassion. Involving yourself is great because the gods really need a vessel to live through. So you can always leave her offerings like wine or honey cakes, but it's really even more potent if your offering is of you eating that. In Homer, when they often leave offerings, their offering is, sacrificing an animal and then eating it as a way to essentially give reverence to the gods. But it would be really beneficial to introduce yourself first and say why you would want to work with Aphrodite, what you were looking to, get out of the relationship, like more productive things, like you want a better sense of self, you want to appreciate love in all forms and spread love within your community or your family. So definitely start out with the introduction and don't expect instant results because it's a relationship you're building at the end of the day. In Homer, they usually talk about how they're very giving, the gods are very giving, they're very generous, but that's only dependent on how much respect that you show to them. So respect Aphrodite as you would any person, but even so much as a god. How would you respect a god? How would you carry yourself in front of a god? I have some devotional acts that I actually wrote down in my grimoire, which include wearing cozy clothes or beautiful clothes, wearing lingerie, listening to music. I would recommend putting together an Aphrodite playlist or a glamour magic playlist, and visualizing the way that you want to look, visualizing Aphrodite herself, and dedicating that. It's basically a ritual, dedicating that ritual to her, giving little gifts to your friends, drinking tea with honey, drinking wine, visiting the ocean or immersing yourself in the ocean. Now, with these devotional acts, you really want to envision Aphrodite and to dedicate it to her, really make her a part of the process. You can write a letter to your future self or your past self, write love letters, use glitter, beautify your area, buy flowers, especially roses, wear makeup and jewelry, compliment people more, do self-care rituals such as face mask, doing your hair and dedicating that to her. Even just brushing your hair can be a devotional act if you keep her in mind while you're doing these things. She really enjoys floral scents, also like amber and musky scents. From my practice is what I've noticed. Practice loving yourself. Self-compassion is a huge thing that Aphrodite is going to teach you. She's going to teach you to unabashedly be yourself. At least that was my experience. Clean your makeup tools with moon water. I know midsummer is generally associated with Aphrodite or the summer solstice. visualize your makeup as empowering or like sort of like a form of armor. Visualization is a really great tool as well for protecting yourself. If you envision a protective bubble around yourself, you're gonna get results with that too. And then some offering ideas for Aphrodite include getting ready for the day. Like I said, your makeup routine can be like one of the best rituals for her. All of the gods in the pantheon enjoy incense, especially frankincense and myrrh. But I've noticed Aphrodite really likes, obviously, rose-scented things, orangey scents, anything that really gives sensuality or like a loving sort of vibe. I think she generally likes. So once again, they live through you. So whatever you find resonates with you, like in a sensual way, then she's probably gonna enjoy that too. Taking care of yourself, makeup, hairstyling, perfume. I love finding perfumes, and certain ones really resonate with Aphrodite. Guys, I have a perfume haul that I highly recommend. It's another video on my channel, but one of the ones that I really like for Aphrodite is called Born in Roma by Valentino. It just reminds me of her. I don't know. You can also make your own perfumes, by the way. I have some of my own, which I'll get into because I'm going to do a whole thing about making your own items for Aphrodite to enchant. So make sure you're telling people that you love them. Also, sex can be an offering, either masturbation or a sex act with another person, as long as it's consensual. You can do that in honor of Aphrodite. In fact, a lot of the prostitutes at like Pompeii and just all over the ancient world would dedicate, they were like protected by Aphrodite, so they would dedicate it to Aphrodite. A really good book for this is, oh man, I forget what it's called. Into the Wolf's Den, I think is what it's called, by Elodie Harper. I might be messing that up, but trigger warning because there's talk of essay, but that book is really interesting because it shows a dichotomy between the prostitutes of Pompeii and reverence to Aphrodite and Venus. But anyway, chocolate strawberries and just chocolate in general. Treating yourself. She loves a good treat yourself moment. Clay, rose petals, pearls, and shells. One thing that I love to do is when I go to the beach, I'll pick out really beautiful shells, and I will save them and put them on her altar. And I especially like the ones with holes because then I can make necklaces out of it and earrings. I'm actually wearing shell earrings right now that I made, and I dedicated to Aphrodite. I leave them on her altar. And let me show you guys actually some of the shells I have here. So here are some of the shells that I found while at the beach. And like I said, I like to get the ones with holes in them so that I can make jewelry with them, like my earrings, or I make necklaces often. I want to make necklaces. Sometimes the holes are too small and I have to get crafty, but I just like to pick out beautiful shells and dedicate them to Aphrodite. She does rule the sea after all, and she rules beauty, so whatever you find beautiful. Aphrodite also loves compliments. She is the most beautiful goddess in the pantheon. She's the most beautiful person ever. Don't ever say somebody or yourself is more beautiful than Aphrodite, because first of all, it's a lie. Second of all, she does not like that. In fact, a lot of her mythology relates to like fighting people because of that. So don't ever say that. She will not do well with you if you say something like that. She's the most beautiful goddess, and if I even have a fraction of her beauty, then I am grateful. So the one thing that I love to do as well is to make jewelry and dedicate it to her. So for one example is, or to ask her to enchant it. So I would say to do this after you've already established a relationship with her and you've left offerings for her and stuff. I made this one necklace for beauty and glamour and compliments. And I have a little dish that I leave for her. And I ask her to charge it with beauty and, you know, her Venetian energy. I have little earrings that I did the same for. And then when I put them on, I sort of just envision myself becoming more beautiful and attracting more. And it does work. I usually get more compliments and stuff when I wear stuff that's dedicated to her or that has been enchanted by her. Here is a shell necklace that I made. I left it on her altar, and I do wear it often actually, but this is something that it's just fun to like make stuff and then dedicate it to her. I feel like that's like giving ancient woman energy. My husband got me this blue heart necklace, and since it came from him, I thought Aphrodite would love it, so I dedicated it to her, and I asked whenever I wear it people to compliment me. So if I put it on, I genuinely get more compliments. It's funny actually, just to see how that works out. I've made attraction oils that I've dedicated to her. I know, I almost dropped it. I know one, I forget which one, honestly. One of them is for attraction, and I think the other one is for more compliments and irresistibility. So I only wear those on special occasions. But it's just fun also to get crafty, because, you know, if you make it for her, it's coming from your heart, and it's, you know, your skills, and you're thinking about her while you're making it, and then you leave it there and she puts her own magic on it. I always find that she's just like, she's just my favorite deity ever. I love her. I would be the high priestess of an Aphrodite temple. I probably was in my past life, genuinely. And I've even noticed, so I actually, personal story here, I grew up being an ugly duckling, and I was made fun of for being ugly and fat. And I always thought of myself like that. I had like no self-compassion or self-esteem ever. And I used to like pray for like beauty and to lose weight and stuff. Like that's how sad it was for me back when I was in school. When I started working with Aphrodite, the first lesson that I learned was self-compassion. And she really taught me that. She taught me to be beautiful in my skin no matter what, and that I can have fun with like seduction and beauty. And you may have noticed in my altar video that I have a huge picture of Dita Von Teese on my Aphrodite altar, and you'd be like, why do you have a picture of her on there? Because she was like one of those people that I saw and was like, she radiates Venetian energy. She's also a Libra, so like, of course Libra and Taurus rule Venus, so she also has a lot of like tips on like how glamour and seduction can like change the way you feel about yourself, and that it's for you mainly and not for other people. And that's like the sort of energy that Aphrodite has taught me as well. It's like, if I'm gonna put on makeup and I'm gonna get dressed up, it's gonna be for me. It's not for anybody else. Like if people wanna enjoy that, whatever, but it's mainly for me. It's I can feel good in myself. So that was sort of the lessons she taught me. And she also taught me to just love my skin no matter what it looks like, you know, no matter what I look like, no matter what my weight is, or whatever people are telling me. Like, forget about it and just live my life and live my truth. And then, I kid you not, after doing all of this like shadow work on myself and living my life according to those ideals and enjoying like my freedom of expression and sensuality and sexuality and stuff like that. Once I did that, I had a massive glow up. I think it was like a glow up from the inside out, because like then all of a sudden, like the people who were bullying me were hitting me up, like talking about how like good looking I got and stuff like that. And by then I'm like, I don't want to hear from you. I don't want your attention. Like, don't conceive me. Don't conceive my attention or whatever. Like, I don't want to be associated with you. Like, you try to bring me down. So, but it's just funny, like, the process. It's like, I didn't expect that working with Aphrodite. I didn't expect to, like, look different and, like, have different, like, face shape and stuff like that. But, it just happened that way because my heart expanded and my self-confidence and self-esteem grew. So working with Aphrodite is definitely a journey. Working with any deity is a journey. And the one thing that's true is it'll make you realize a lot about yourself, and you will go through a lot of internal processes while working with somebody. So choose your deities wisely, but I would highly recommend working with Aphrodite. I think if you respect her, then she's going to respect you. And the more fun you have with it, the more that she's going to enjoy working with you too. This is a side note too, but since Aphrodite rules the planet Venus, definitely look into your astrology and see where your Venus is. See what sign your Venus is in and what house your Venus is in. So it can really tell you a lot about how you love and your aesthetics and like the best aesthetics for you and like clothing wise. So for example, my Venus is in Scorpio in the 8th house, which actually rules death and rebirth and a lot of magic, esoteric, taboo, sexuality. So it was no wonder I started working with Aphrodite. But I also always enjoyed the darker shades. Like, I've always been a self-proclaimed goth. I love goth music. I love goth clothes and stuff. So once I started embracing that and going down that path, then I also really had to glow up, because it felt like it was just, my energy was attracting better. Like, that's who I was supposed to be. And embracing like the deep emotional roller coaster that is my heart has really helped too. So I would recommend you doing that too, just to see what it says about the kind of person that you are, the kind of aesthetics that you enjoy. Because I do enjoy a lot of things related to the 8th house for sure, and Scorpio for that matter. So yeah, just the main takeaway is learn as much about her as possible, and your relationship with her is going to be unique. So take it with a grain of salt, like take it one step at a time. Introduce yourself, start working with her, say prayers for her, read Sappho. I always find that's a great place to start. And yeah, just explore with it. Honestly, I wouldn't be too worried or upset, stressed out about it. Just take it like you would be meeting a new person, like to form a friendship, honestly. So I wish you luck on your journey, and let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and if there's any other deities that you want me to do a video on. I do work with a couple, but yeah, so thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and help me build my channel. See you next time.